Ministerial Code says that ministers who knowingly mislead Parliament will be expected to offer their resignation. Does the Prime Minister believe that applies to him?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, of course, but let me tell the House that I think he's inviting a question about an investigation which, as you know, Mr. Speaker, I can't comment, and on which he, as a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, will know that I can't comment on.
I think the Prime Minister said yes, he agrees the code does apply to him, and therefore, if he misled Parliament, he must resign. So since he acknowledges the ministerial code applies to him, will he now resign?
No, Mr. Speaker, but you know.
A guest who is not in Massachusetts. Nigel Nelson is political editor at the Sunday Mirror. Good to see you again, Nigel. OK, the saying is, was it Harold Wilson? A week is a long time in politics. I think we were talking about a week ago. You thought that Boris Johnson might have gone by now, you thought, but he's still there. How?
Well, he's there because we haven't got this report that he was referring to in that clip. And we're not sure where we're going to get it. This is the report by the Whitehall enforcer, Sue Gray, which we thought we would have last week. We were convinced we would get it today. And I've been in Parliament all day waiting for it. And there was just chaos and confusion because it hasn't turned up. So we're now expecting it tomorrow, but we could be sitting here this time tomorrow and it still hasn't arrived.
What is it doing to the Conservative Party's ability, to Boris Johnson's cabinet and the Prime Minister himself, and his ability to be able to take the decisions he needs to take, considering what's happening with Ukraine, considering that 24 hours ago it was 94,000 new coronavirus infections, hundreds of people are dying every day?
Well, it makes it really difficult because the governing party is ripping itself apart. That Boris Johnson is losing control of his cabinet. He's losing his authority. So the longer this goes on, the worse it is for the country. A lot of people are arguing when you talk about Ukraine that we shouldn't be trying to get rid of a prime minister right in the middle of this international crisis. But then again, the World War II was a pretty big crisis, and we swapped prime ministers then from Neville Chamberlain to Winston Churchill. So there is a precedent for this, and I do think that Boris Johnson will go, but we might have to wait a few more days yet before he does.
What about the police investigation? Number 10 and the top aides of the Prime Minister's office say that it's not clear yet if the police are going to interview Boris Johnson himself. But in terms of criminality, if there were rules broken, those were legal rules that were broken. What would happen in that instance in terms of any privilege that a prime minister might have given his position? And an international sort of correlation would be diplomatic immunity.
Yes, I mean, in Britain, he has no privilege. That the prime minister is subject to the law, as is every other citizen. So in the event that the police were to find against him, there would be no question, but he would have to resign. And if he didn't, his own cabinet would make sure that he did. The question, of course, is what police are actually looking at. It does seem that they must have a serious allegation against number 10, not necessarily the Prime Minister, to be investigating at all. Normally, if you're just talking about a fine for breaking COVID rules, the police wouldn't chase that up so long after the event. So whatever the crime they're investigating is serious. What we don't know, of course, is whether or not that the Prime Minister himself is definitely under investigation. And we won't know that until the police, or if the police decide to interview Boris Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. So it still has plenty of time to run. Nigel Nelson, political editor of the Sunday Mirror. Thank you so much, as always, Nigel. Take care.